The only thing I need to do is move up. Okay. With those taken, I actually have the 6th Infantry to play around with now. Since there is more... or less space that I need to occupy here. And means you can move into Durovo, and I have the 14th motorized to play with now. So I am quite pleased at that. Now let's take a look. Well, okay, seems like they have their new line of defense around this city. Alright, very well. I have this motorized corps. I do have to say, it does feel a little bit like a pity that I am using these kind of as if they're on guard duty here. Cannot get into Rzhev itself, but 18th motorized can. I'd rather use 18th motorized in the Panzer Division. Eighteenth motorized surely also has to rest here, so like, this is also certainly a weak spot. And I wonder how far something like this Panzer Division could potentially go. But I'll think about it. Let's wait. Okay. So that's a this score. I mean, I'm probably better off already crossing the river, so I don't have to do that later on. Oh. Okay. I actually thought they would have made it. Like, not to be a dick, but... Attacking into them doesn't seem too useful. Oh, you're in another HQ entirely. Okay, let's get you under the 13th then. And you under the 43rd. It's a good thing I can switch. Even cavalry in the swamp is just not too great for me. And here too, I'm not quite sure whether I would even defeat them. But moving into this hex also, it doesn't really accomplish a whole lot. Hmm. Let's actually get this rail line going here. Just cannot get into Schlobin. Okay. But we're getting to Gomel, so it's not the end of the world. I wonder if I'll be able to get it on the next turn. Get it all the way down. That would be the most ideal. Get them out of there. They lost enough that I'm pleased. I don't want to attack them. But what I do want to attack is... Oh, no. Is that across the river? Yes, it is. Oh, really? There's no way I could have let that slide, indeed. So, really needed to attack. And now they cannot go any further. But I would still want to move these in there. And let's do a soft attack to push them to the side here. That serves me well because now at least I can move one hex further without too many troubles. Alright. Really need to shuffle in these guys as well. Let's do a double soft attack. Push them to the side. And now... Oh, really? You're part of that? I mean, this also is a tough piece of territory. So, as it is... What I'm actually what I'm gonna do here is see whether I can take Krasnograd. No. Well, that is a bloody shame. So interesting that because of these they will get stuck. Actually, please just retreat or route in there. That's also okay. I don't mind them routing that direction. Yeah, that didn't work. Unsurprising at that one. Still though, I kind of need all the help I can get around here, so it's no use for them moving further up because this already actually has all of them taken down. Now, not to be a party pooper, but I still need them to move though, so just to get that out there. Okay. Now, I don't particularly mind that they have new units there. That's not a thing. Let's keep them in there too. The goal is to ultimately keep the enemy encircled. So and these are actually powerful enough that I think this is okay, and I do have an infantry there as well. There's of course this, which connects to these. That, I don't want to say it might be cause for concern, but I want them to move down. Probably still do though. This should strengthen it at least a little bit too. And then now that should be fine. It's a bit of a mess here, obviously. But the goal is to make sure that they are at least encircled entirely for one turn. And then I can do whatever I want. That's kind of the way this is supposed to go. I we do have these now. Find that interesting. So, as it is, I kind of want to pull you over to Dnipropetrovsk. And let them rest and refit for the remainder out there. At this stage, you know, I really just kind of want to get the tanks moving. And let's rest you at Dnipropetrovsk too. The faster those guys become active again, the better. I still have a ways to go all the way to Rostov, you know, by the end of the year. So if they can recuperate a bit over here, I would not mind that. Let's do the same with the 16th motorized. Yeah, there's very little supply in that area, which is also exactly one of the reasons why I already want to have this covered. Some of these light divisions also definitely have to rest. It definitely goes for show that with these huge distances that they need to move, they don't seem to be particularly pleased in terms of combat efficiency. They would have a unit in there though, so I don't really see why getting to the other side would be a good idea at this point. Whereas I think certainly resting for this turn with most of the panzers is a pretty good idea. Okay, this isn't perfect obviously, but I think it is at least a little bit better currently than what it was before. Also in terms of that encirclement. Okay. Okay, well, I'll take it. It doesn't really matter that much, but it means more of these guys will stay in there, I guess, as in terms of manpower for me. And yeah, just overall this will work out. Let's also at least cut off this smaller area. It probably doesn't really matter that much, but still. And then I'm quite sure they have a pretty big number of units in there, so I'm actually happy that I got this encirclement going. However, I still feel that the 4th Panzer Division should be resting, and I also feel that this is probably not what I want to do. Let's keep them there. Okay. Let's send them over to this side. Yeah, let's get them in through here. Shouldn't be that bad. Well, let's take a look here. You wouldn't be able to attack either way at this unit. But I would need a motorized. Two motorized. Units to get there. They're quite exhausted at this point though. And also I have no supplies here, so I'm not gonna get all my hopes up. I don't see them trying to pour through here that quickly. But obviously you can never know that for sure. So if you go in there it's 12. You go in there at 16. Question is, do I want to go in there with these? That is actually the more important question. Okay. You see, I could move them into Rusa. Actually, let's take Mozhaisk first here. So first of all, let's be realistic. I've no way to currently support an attack on Moscow itself. That's... Well, the capture of Mozhaisk allows me to take Volokolamsk here as well. And I'm actually quite curious to see how the Russians would react against something like that. Again, they might get an event where they're just gonna try and put together a bunch of units around Moscow. They could do it. I mean, besides that, this would get me... Like, this is October, so we're 2 months ahead of schedule there. And in the case of Rusa, that's even more. Basically, this is their defensive place, kind of where they, you know, stopped for their winter offensive. We still have some time before we would potentially have to get there. Yeah, taking this territory at this point, it also does not feel like it's super useful. One other thing... the thing is, I just feel like they're gonna isolate Rizhev if I move further down here. And as much as I would like to take whatever these few hexes towards Medin, threatening Kaluga potentially, I don't really see how we're really gonna need that at this moment. Certainly once this is done and we can get a bit better supplies up and running into there, which is just at the moment it's just not possible because the railroad is just not far enough. Like next turn I can potentially get it into Alexandria, but even then, you know, it's up here and then I would need all the way up there until I could even get close to this area. These guys keep running down there, so I'll be looking to gain control over this rail line, because that also moves then ultimately up to Kursk. But another problem is, of course, this here. It's just something that's unsustainable for the moment. One area where we're getting actually pretty decent supply, or at least quite far, is in our group north. Currently, I'll be looking to get these guys further down again. I guess maybe once I get into Chudovo, I feel like I should be moving down from Novgorod, get to Starya Russa, and then work my way towards the node and to Pskov, and then also down there. Or I should be working from Polotsk and move my, or from Vitebsk, and move my way up into Veliki Luki, and then continue moving up there. That could also be a thing. That would at least allow me to get the double rail. Which is also important. Those are things to think about. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go off screen and try to take care of the last few things around here that still need doing. I guess one of these things would be railing in the Italians. Moving them or railing them down there is quite useless, so... But the problem is that I just don't feel that that great moving them along this rail line currently. I'm gonna think a bit as well on how to move them. Certainly railing these guys in through the south, or the 3rd remaining infantry division, I'm much more comfortable with trying to do that for now. So I'll think about it, and afterwards I'll be back after taking care of all the other stuff. So meet you on the other side. All right, I'm back, and I've taken care of a few things, not too much. I moved 4th Panzer Group up over here, moving 8th Panzer Division 1x forward. And just remove the HQs in most cases. Move 3rd Panzer Group forward. Resupplied the HQ at Bobrusk. Again, moved a few HQs around here and here. Still need to switch up a general. Then down here, build a new depot. Here at Smela, transported some stuff in there. It's the furthest HQ we can get to. Decided to rail. I actually had one more cavalry, and I did decide to rail these guys anyway. It'll be tough for a turn, but tough luck. Let's actually switch up a general and army group north now. So we have both of these under the 2nd Corps, so I actually think it might be useful to switch up the 2nd Corps commander, because not only are they furthest away from Veliki Luki. Actually, what if I move you here? So I need to take a look at 2nd Corps. 16 out of 15. I could move them back a little bit. Moving it into Ostrov should work. Yeah. So Hans-Jürgen von Arnim, he's actually really good. Okay, so with 7, I already don't want to replace him. Let's move, I guess, a bit further south. Let's just take any increasing 7 infantry, for example. Good for Chevalier should be pretty reasonable. Indeed he is. Then I have Robert Martinek, 7 infantry, so let's not thorn him. Karl Allmendinger, 7 currently. Kurt von Biesen. Alright, this is the first guy that doesn't have it. Let's replace him. Well, the Grisner would be able to make the cut. But to be frank, it might not be worth it, because well, let's see, maybe Joachim from Kortfleisch. No, you're already at 7. Eric Hansen, the 54th Corps, which is going to be critical for this. Need at least a 771, huh? Well, Multimodal would be a bit overkill there. What the Grisner at least is a 7.5. There's a 7.3 Hubert Lanz. He's actually pretty decent. Let's use him. Because he has 7 infantry and pretty good skills all across the board besides. So I'm sure that will help a bit as well. Alright. I am going to end the turn. An interesting turn to be sure. I mean, obviously I did a bit of waiting at the Dnepropetrovsk because it's just yeah, the rail just cannot keep up. So at those points where the rail just does not allow me to move any further, I just kind of have to wait, and the same will apply here in the center. Like I'm trying to get the rail back there, but that's just not automatically going to be possible, and that's why it's gonna take a while. I'm sure it's a pretty decent encirclement, though. I would be surprised if there weren't more than 100,000 men in there. For sure. I'll be looking to get into the Crimea on the next turn as well. I put a bit of a lower priority than last time. Last time I moved in there with my panzers. I'm a bit earlier now, so that's already nice. I'm not so sure whether I'll be able to get to Sevastopol for the rainy season, but I do have the Romanian Panzer Division to just move a little bit further, convert those hexes that will allow my infantry just to move just that little bit faster down there as well. So definitely also hoping to see that there. Now, besides that, we did make a significant push towards Moscow with those 2 Panzer Divisions. Do I think we'll be able to take Moscow quickly? No, I don't. Oh wow, again, huh? But it might put the Russians once again on a back footing at that. I lost units because of flak during their combat. Or during their air turn? That is super weird. From what am I supposed to lose? Man, what a disaster. The air war is still something that I'm not particularly pleased with. Even now, it is not going particularly well. That come on, really? They supposedly just ran through that? That is a load of bollocks. That is some grade A garbage right there. There's no way, I think. What? Okay, their movement points really do amaze me. If they aren't teleporting, they surely are. It still is looking like they're cheating as it is. But I mean, I can get those troops out of there. That's not the problem. It's just and I know I'm overstretched. I mean, I'm not gonna lie about that. Surely I am, but this is a bit too much. Like, what the At least supposedly that line held. And they just moved out of there again as well. It makes absolutely no sense. Like, not to be a dick, but that is just great ABS. It's still not according to the rules, I feel like. Yeah. Yeah, you can freight stuff in there all you want. At least they're losing planes in this endeavor. That's nice. I really do need that, by the way, for them to lose these kind of transport planes. All right. Turn 9, August the 17th. Still a long ways off from places like Stalingrad. Which, let's face it, would be impossible to capture. Nearly, yeah, I would say it's impossible to capture in the first year. Probably no matter what difficulty you're playing on. There's just no real conversion that's going to be fast enough to allow you to do that. It's funny, by the way, that Saratov is 30 points, but Kuybyshev is only 10. So how are you gonna move? You're gonna move up there. You're never gonna get all those points. Anyway, we're at 487. So down here. Yeah, like I said, I can. Oh, they're at least they aren't cut off. Yeah, I can get out pretty quickly on those. We'll have to see how we're gonna deal with it there. I might be able to beat this mountain cavalry division. I don't want to say quite handily, but it should be going okay. Might look for a breakthrough at Slavgorod and try to head south, cutting them off from this rail line, and then here as well. Potentially encircling a few units in here while we try to get that rail going forward as well. Seems like at least we'll be able to shorten our lines here and send division up there again, potentially. That would be great. Besides that, I do not have any other unit in here. No. Let's take a look at the events. Axis garrison in the west and Soviet partisans. Soviets evacuate Moscow as before. We've already seen this one. Yeah, so this is now actually isolated. That's great. Might even be able to take Kiev too. See a bunch of other units. We'll get them to route. If we look at the number, so it's slightly below us at this point. So things are dicey in that regard, like they were before. It's interesting to see that the Soviets have practically the same amount of men as they used to in my other playthrough, despite things going a lot smoother this time. And it's not as if I'm not encircling enemy troops either. Like, this is a huge pocket, akin to what the Germans achieved historically. That's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar. If we look at the historical capture dates, I would say so as well. So basically the Germans decided to swing south, and then Like, you can see here the difference between August 26th and October. That's more than a month's difference. So obviously the August is the line that the Germans followed, you know, while going for the Kiev pocket. So then we can see here we're following August, September, over through here. Just like this over here as well. They even got to Vogelsba. Assuming they captured a lot later already. So I would say that they then swung up till here to Romney and Logvica. We do remember those from pretty much all the other games as well. And then they kind of swung here. So we actually got a little bit more and also a little bit earlier in that regard. But after that, they should be able to swing to this side pretty quickly. Even, well, Kursk is pretty late, but swinging over up till Orel, even now, I don't want to say it's going to be difficult, but okay, well, I'm gonna end the video here. 20th of July. I will not make it. Might be able to make it into Narva. Who knows? At any rate, I'm gonna wrap things up. I want to thank you for watching. Do hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please do leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. So take care, see you then, and bye-bye.